Hello and welcome to our sixth installment of Around the World of our webinar series Around the World with Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Georgia Properties, co-sponsored and brought to you by UnniCo, Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Georgia Properties, and the World Trade Center Atlanta. I'm Max Sutherland, President and CEO of the World Trade Center Atlanta, and your moderator and MC of today's presentation. Let me do a quick introduction of our team here. And if you guys can see my screen, we have here left to right is Melinda McBrayer. Wait a minute. And my screen just went dark. Can anybody see that? Anything? You know what? Let me redo that. Hold on. Anyway, we have Melinda McBrayer, certified, what is it? Your title, Certified International Property Specialist. And from Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices, we have John Parkerson, attorney from Hall Booth Smith. And we have UnniCo, Alex Razorek, who's co-founder, as well as Danila Palmieri, also from UnniCo, co-founder. And Melinda, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yes, I am Melinda McBrayer, and I work for Berkshire Hathaway Berkshire Hathaway Georgia Properties. I'm a certified international property specialist, and I provide domestic and international relocation and property acquisition assistance through our global network of Berkshire Hathaway Home Service companies and affiliates. And with us today, and with great pleasure, I would like to introduce you to our special guest.
Melinda, I'm sorry, Melinda, before we introduce the guests, I got a little off script because I had a technical issue there. Can we get Alex and Danila to introduce themselves, as well as John Parkinson?
Sure.
Alex, would you introduce yourself real quick? Say a couple of words.
Yes, definitely. So I'm Alex Viexorek. I'm CEO and co-founder of UnniCo. And UnniCo is a company where we have 4 companies under the same umbrella. One is UnniCo Ventures, that we work with funding businesses, both in US and overseas. And the second business, the other company we have is UnniCo Cross Border, that we can pretty much help our clients to go international and to do trading operations between, in this case, Spain and US and Spain. So Danila, if you'd like to go next.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Danila Palmieri. I am the COO at UnniCo as a co-founder with Alex. And the other 2 businesses that we have under our umbrella is UnniCo Connect, that is white label sales and marketing as well. So we provide to our clients a back-office solution that includes also human resources and also finance. And we have a UnniCo Digital, where we have a full marketing agency. So we have it's one-stop shop solution where we can provide, the services for any company in any stage. Thank you, Max. John?
Hello, I'm John Parkerson. I'm an international business attorney at Hall Booth Smith in Atlanta. And it's my pleasure to be present on this distinguished panel. And I, in turn, would like to introduce a distinguished guest, Sarah Asensio Jimenez, who's with the international law firm of Urrea Menendez. She's in Madrid, and she's a senior tax advisor, but she advises a lot of individuals and corporations that are entering Spain to do business or to settle. Thank you.
Well, great. I wanted to go ahead and introduce our special guests from Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Larvia and Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Marbella. They are exclusive affiliates of Warren Buffett's global real estate business. And with great pleasure, I will introduce Bruno Rabassa. He is the CEO and the founder of Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Larvia. He will speak first, and then our second special guest speaker is Ugo Bagration. He is with Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Marbella. He is the head of business expansion. So with great pleasure, Bruno, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you for your introduction, Melinda. Great pleasure being here with you all. And as you mentioned, my name is Bruno Rabassa. I am the CEO and founder of Larvia, a family holding company of which I am the third generation, which has been dedicated to the real estate in Spain for nearly 60 years. Larvia, our brokerage company, joined Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices in July 2019 with the goal of leading the expansion of the brand. And we in Spain, and we currently operate 3 offices in Madrid, 1 in Barcelona, and we have also partnered since last June with Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Marbella, which covers the entire Costa del Sol. In our strategic plan, we expect to continue expanding and operating offices all along the Mediterranean coast, the Balearic and Canary Islands. Let me tell you about my country. Spain is an amazing country, as you have seen in this short video. And as you may not know, it is the most mountainous country in Europe. And that besides stunning beaches and calas, we also have ski resorts. Spain has the highest life expectancy in the world, surpassing Japan, Singapore, and Switzerland. The Mediterranean diet and our excellent healthcare system help a lot. But you know, our happiness and lifestyle are crucial. We work a lot and very hard, but we also have time for our hobbies and for our loved ones. Spain is the gateway to Europe, and also it's Florida. And for that reason, Spain is the second most touristic country in the world. In 2019, about 84 million tourists visited us, and it has only been beaten by France. About 20% of the real estate transactions are made by foreigners, and those who come don't want to leave. COVID is bringing us new inhabitants from other parts of the world who come with their families looking for our lifestyle and to work remotely from here, knowing that with our connections, they can travel to almost anywhere in Europe in less than 3 hours flight and to New York in 6. What are you waiting for? We're looking forward to welcoming you. Ugo, all yours.
Thank you, Bruno. Fantastic introduction to our beautiful country, Spain. Before I commence, I would like to extend my most sincere gratitude to everyone involved. It's a pleasure to be able to speak in this esteemed panelist. My name is Ugo Bagration. I am the head of business expansion for Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Marbella. We joined the wonderful family of Berkshire Hathaway just shy of 9 months ago with our esteemed partners in Madrid, with Bruno Rabassa and his team. We are a small family-run brokerage firm in Marbella, south of Spain. We are a coastal resort which lives off overseas buyers and one of the most popular tourist destinations in the whole of Southern Europe. We specialize on the high end of the market when it comes to our real estate portfolio. Marbella is known for being home to some of the most exclusive real estate in all of Spain. We cater to high net worth individuals, mainly from Northern European countries. Marbella is a very popular destination for royalty, aristocrats, high net worth individuals, entrepreneurs from around the world. It was discovered by the Hohenlohe family, royals from the Austrian nobility back in the 60s. And today Marbella has transformed itself to one of the leading destinations in the whole of Southern Europe, mainly due to its amazing weather, its beautiful scenery, fantastic Mediterranean food, and some of the most spectacular golf courses in the whole world. Therefore, we are extremely excited for this new venture with Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices, and we truly believe we are on the right path to making this a fruitful collaboration.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate Bruno and Hugo. Now we're going to turn it over to Sarah Asensio Jimenez, and she will talk to us about taxes, about the Golden Visa. We are very, very honored to have her here with us as well. She is in Spain. She is an expert on these topics. So go ahead, Sarah, it's all yours.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Thank you, Melinda. Today, as Melinda said, I'm gonna talk about the Spanish Golden Visa regime and some highlights on the Spanish taxation system. Taxation is not commonly the most exciting topic in the world, but I will try to do my best and do it simply. In connection with the Golden Visa, the Spanish Golden Visa, the visa is a permit that allows the holder to live and work in Spain. One of its main features is that it does not require a minimum stay period in Spain, not for the issuance of the permit and not for the renewal of the permit. The granting of the visa is connected with making an investment in Spain in certain Spanish assets, such as real estate assets or financial assets. It has to be above a minimum threshold, which in general terms for real estate is €500,000, and for financial assets, it is €1 million. The procedure is very simple and can be done through electronic means. And it is important to take into account that the visa could also be extended to the family members of the applicant. So the spouse and the children or ascendant who are economically dependent on the applicant will also benefit from the visa. The visa is granted for an initial period of 2 years and could be renewable for additional periods of 5 years if the requirements are still met. Some personal information and identification information about the applicant should be filed within the Spanish authorities. And one thing that is important is that the applicant should contract a health insurance policy with a Spanish company. These are the main features and requirements for obtaining a visa in Spain. It's a quick procedure. In about 1 month, the visa could be obtained, and it's very. And we have a 6 dozen of clients in this process, and we can easily navigate all the procedure with the applicant. And in connection with the Spanish taxation system, I'm gonna just give some highlights on how it works for individuals. It is important to be aware of the criteria that could be could lead someone to be deemed as a Spanish tax resident in Spain. In general terms, if someone spends more than 183 days in a calendar year, or it maintains its principal center of interest in Spain, it could be considered as a Spanish tax resident. In addition, the Spanish tax authorities could deem or could presume that someone is residing in Spain if their spouse and children resides in Spain. Being considered as a Spanish tax resident, what means that the individual would be taxed on personal income tax and also in net wealth tax on their worldwide income or assets. Note that the Spanish it could be also be taxed with other taxes such as the inheritance and gift tax. In this point, it would be very relevant the region, the specific region where the individual is resident, because some regions in Spain have approved relevant tax relief in connection with net wealth tax and also inheritance tax. So in practical terms, when some requirements are met, a relief of 100% or 99% is granted in some situations. And finally, this is the general regime, but also under Spanish regulations, there is a special regime for individuals moving to Spain for working reasons by which they would only be taxed on Spanish source income in terms of interest, dividend, and capital gains. And for labor income, they can benefit for lower tax rates.
Sarah, thank you very much for that. Before we get to the actual panel discussion, I do want to let everyone know that at the bottom of your screen, you'll see two features there. One is a chat, one is a Q&A. Feel free to use the chat function to introduce yourselves to other individuals online and to the speakers, but use the Q&A function if you do have a question that you want to ask one of the speakers. And it's easier if you tell me which speaker you want to, you're posing your question to. So let's jump in then real quick and ask some questions here. I want to actually go back to Sarah first and start with her. Sarah, you did mention a bit about the golden visa, which is a fantastic insight on that, and it's a great opportunity for people who have certainly that the means to be able to purchase or invest at those higher levels. What other visas, though, are available if someone does not have that financial wherewithal to make that kind of an investment, either in real estate or through other investments?
Thank you, Mas. Indeed, there are all the other visas that are available in Spain, but they are not really linked with this kind of objective requirements, more with the situation by which the transfer is made. So in these cases, for example, there is available a visa for qualified professionals coming to Spain for working reasons, or a non-lucrative visa in certain circumstances, but this should be analyzed on a case-by-case basis, because it's not that objective as the golden visa, that the main requirements that should be met is making the investment above the minimum thresholds amounts that are requested.
So if someone is actually interested in purchasing something, real estate, but unsure yet where they want to be, do they? Is there some kind of a visa that can get them at least to the point where they buy, that they can't before they apply then for that golden visa? Or is it just a regular tourist visa that they work on?
Yes, just the regular tourist visa.
Got
the
it.
regular tourist visa, it will allow the individual to be in Spain for 90 days. So it should be enough for coming here and see the asset and coming back. There is not a specific visa for these purposes, but as I mentioned before, if they comply with any of the requirements that are intended for the other kind of visa, they could also apply for that in the situations.
Excellent, thank you. So let's just jump in real quick and let's talk with Bruno and Hugo about property. Is it better to, and we're talking more specifically about the Madrid, Barcelona, and Marbella markets, correct? And if so, is it better to rent first and then buy, or talk to me a little bit about the rental market versus that purchase market?
Obviously, there is a big difference between rental and buying. If you want to apply to the Golden Visa, the only way is to buy a property, unless you have done previously an investment on financial markets for that million mentioned by Sarah. Even though it's a very relevant question that is usually made by our clients, because mortgage rates here are really low. An example, next year I will pay for my mortgage for my home 0.15%, which is nothing. So would you prefer to buy or to rent? In my case, I would prefer to buy, because I can have that mortgage for a very low interest rate and I will be the owner of the property. Even though it is usual for those foreigners coming to rent first, to take a look, to feel the neighborhood or to feel the city or whatever, and then to make the decision. But you may see a lot of them buying directly, basically because of the Golden Visa.
Sorry to interrupt, but in my experience, for example, there are two types of investors. And the one that Bruno mentioned, who come to Spain and see the properties and with the tourist visa just buy it. Because the amount is not really high, so and the market is really good at that moment, so they are able to obtain a property in Spain that allows them to request for the visa. But if they need more time, what they usually do is applying for the visa with an investment in a financial asset, such as a Spanish stock or a Spanish investment fund, or just a deposit within a Spanish bank. Even though in these situations they obtain a back-to-back loan with the bank, so they can make a disposal of the funds within that time. And once they have the visa granted with the financial assets, they have plenty of time to look for the property they want, and after that they can just change the relevant investment, and there is no need to maintain both at the same time. So they can do first with go first with the financial asset, which is easy, and it gets profits with the investment, and look for the property, and after just change the relevant investment for the visa.
So what I'm hearing then, I think, is the golden visa is actually meant more for high net worth individuals that are looking for either a second home or a vacation home or retirement or something, as opposed to a business executive being relocated to the area. Is that correct? Do you get many corporate or company executives that relocate, that take advantage of the golden visa?
Yes, Max, but they can use both. But in case of executive coming to Spain for working reasons, the common option or the common visa to be requested is the one that I mentioned before, that is intended for professionals coming to Spain for labor reasons. And in these situations, they also become a Spanish tax resident. The habitual way to go is asking for the special Spanish taxation regime, the so-called vacant regime that I mentioned before, because it has relevant tax benefits in Spain for that individuals. So they could go for the golden visa, but there is no need in most of the cases, because the other visa permit special for this kind of situations.
Got it. Good. That gives a lot more clarification there. I appreciate that. All right, so let's get back and talk about the properties again. What are the typical costs, average costs for, say, a 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo versus house? In let's start with the Marbella coast. Ugo, talk to me a little bit about that.
Certainly, Max. Marbella is, let's divide it into a radius of 30 kilometers from point A to point B. Within those 30 kilometers, you can find 10 different sub areas, as we call them here. Each sub area has a different price point. We work with square meters here as opposed to in the United States. So square meter can vary from 1,500 euro all the way up to 30,000 euro. So there is a vast diversity when it comes to the product portfolio that we're working with. But in a nutshell, a 3-bedroom condo in a decent upcoming neighborhood can go for anywhere between 300,000 euro to 600, 700,000 euro. These are new build properties, which are in immaculate condition based on how new they are. But they're not always the best qualities. Therefore, it's always a bit tricky when it comes to choosing the correct property. But we also have 3-bedroom condos, which can go up to 30,000 euro per square meter. And this is the Golden Mile as we know it here. The Golden Mile is a 9-kilometer stretch, which is home to the most expensive real estate in town. Therefore, there is product for all pockets there. And us as an agency, we normally cater to high end, but there are very good opportunities below the €500,000 mark.
So if someone's looking for an investment property whereby they want to rent it out as a vacation unit, in addition to using it periodically themselves throughout the year, but they want to make some money, they may not be moving there on a full-time basis, but they want to use it as a vacation place for themselves while at the same time an investment property and renting it out for vacationers that come into the area that spend anywhere from a weekend to a week or a few weeks or even a month. What's the percentage of that is in the market? How many investments do you have like that where they are vacation investments?
Many, due to the nature of the market in Marbella being 90% overseas buyers, our main market. Many of them purchase property as an investment vehicle for those assets to generate return on investment, ROI. We're looking at rental yields between 3 to 4.5%. And we are looking at an ROI of anywhere between 5 to 7%. 7% would be an exception, but yeah, 5-6% ROI on investment.
Well, that's pretty good. So, and what is their the utilization rate? What is the fill rate? Are they able to buy something and fill it year round, or are there certain months that are more popular and fill better?
Absolutely. We have the high season and the low season. So high season is 5 months a year and the rest is low season. However, Marbella caters to people from different nationalities which are looking for the sunshine, which we enjoy 300 days of pure sunshine every year. Therefore, we have Scandinavian people which come in the low season as they rather have a more quieter experience in terms of congregation of people, and they enjoy to play golf in the cooler months of the year as opposed to other nationalities that prefer to come during the summer. So just to give you a quick example, Max, a 3-bedroom condo which can go for 3,000 euro a week in the high season can go for 3,000 euro a month in the low season. So there is a considerable difference within policy.
And I'm sorry, could you share that high season versus the low season? What months are we talking about?
With high season would be June, July, August, and September. That's 4 months of the year. These are the highest season here in Marbella. And as I said, a long-term rental of a 3-bedroom condo can be a nice high-end one, can be 3,000 euro per month if you sign a 12-month lease. However, if it's high season and you only rent it out for 1 or 2 weeks, you can pay that per week. You can be paying 3,000 for the same unit here.
Right.
3,000 euro per week.
Nice. So it's a great investment. So how does that compare to, let's say, Madrid or Barcelona?
In Madrid and Barcelona, we don't have high season and low season. We have a very low season, which is August, because as it may happen in New York, Washington, or LA, or somewhere else during summertime, everybody leaves the city. So in Madrid and Barcelona, it's so similar for that. So a 3-bedroom condo, we have a wide range depending on the location, because Madrid and Barcelona are big cities, much more bigger Madrid than Barcelona, because Barcelona is restricted by the mountains and the sea, and in Madrid there is no sea. There are mountains, but there are not those geographical restrictions. Barcelona is a little bit cheaper, but for that apartment with 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom in Madrid, we can start from let's say 300,000 euros till 1 million, 1.5 million, depending. So you can have something really decent on a nice place, let's say for 600,000 euros. The ROIs are very similar. We also have customers that used to buy as an investment. In Madrid, basically from Latin America. We have a business unit in-house under the name of Luxury Rentals Madrid that manages around 165 apartments from third party owners. And in that case, before COVID, we used to have under that short-term rental ROIs about 10-15%, depending on the occupation rates of those apartments. In case you sign a lease for that apartment, you may pay, let's say, 1,500 to 2,000 euros, depending on the area. If it's a very cheap area, you may pay 800 euros. So it's obviously there is a wide range.
Right. So we've talked about return on investments for owning it and renting out, things like that. But how has been the appreciation of real estate assets? What's the trend been like? Here in the United States, we have different markets that have experienced significant appreciations of values over the past several years. Has the same been occurring in Spain and specifically those 3 markets? Is each one different? Is one more susceptible to now what we've been going through with the coronavirus? Talk to me a little bit about the appreciation values.
Okay, let's take the point of 2007. Before 2007, we have experienced increases of around 10%, 2 digits on the price value of the housing housing market. Yeah. Remember in 2017, we had the economical crisis, Freddie and Mac, and some other issues that affected worldwide. Since then, Spain have experienced decreases on prices really tremendous. Since then, let's say 2011, we have experiencing increasing prices in the housing market. Obviously, with big differentiations between the big cities and the main cities and other parts of Spain. The coronavirus, you just mentioned that in the States, especially for this year, you have experiencing big increasing, and that's mainly because of the interest rates on the mortgages. In Spain, we have the European rates for the interest rates, and they are very, very low. They have been very low for the last decade. So that is not a big concern for the buyer to take the decision to buy. But because of the COVID pandemic, what we have experienced is the same thing that what happened in the US. People are leaving the cities, are leaving the small apartments they have in the main center of the cities, and they're looking for wider spaces. They're looking for swimming pools, they're looking for fresh air, and they don't care really to be next to the office or just 30 minutes from the office to the office. And that has been a very dynamic opportunity for the real estate market here in Spain.
So is it a buyer's market at the moment or a seller's market? I guess it would be, it depends. If you're in inner city, it's a buyer's market. If you're in the country, it's a seller's market. Is that right?
In the city is a seller's market. Yeah. In the city, there are more properties on sale.
So it's a buyer's market. So people, the buyers can get a better price buying in the city at the moment because there are more properties on the market in the city.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And also, as I mentioned before, and Hugo just mentioned, in Marbella, we've seen lots of North European citizens coming to Spain, and mainly to Costa del Sol, to move, looking for the nice weather, the lifestyle, and they can take a plane to have a meeting in Stockholm or in Paris or whatever they need to go in just 2 hours or 2 hours and a half flight, which is nothing.
So Hugo, are you seeing a greater appreciation in Marbella than Bruno does in Madrid?
Within the high-end segment, I would say it's slightly lower, the appreciation in Marbella. I would say it's anywhere between 5 to 7%. Based on the fact that these assets are being kept for a long time. They don't have a high turnover when it comes to, buying, selling the same asset. So yeah, I think that's the reason why. Also, it is definitely a buyer's market in Marbella due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There is a very selected and exclusive product portfolio at the moment, which is seeing unprecedented price reductions. We're talking about anywhere between 10 to 20%.
Wow, nice to know.
It's crazy.
Everybody listening, reach out to Hugo and start looking at properties in Marbella.
Cash is king. Yeah, cash is king in Marbella at the moment.
Yeah. So and this is a good segue. You just mentioned, and I apologize, I have a cat that's begging me to go out. You just mentioned that cash is king. Let's talk about, though, mortgages. What's the ability to secure an international mortgage or secure a mortgage from a foreign buyer? For a foreign buyer, what's the ease of that? Is it better to get? We have somebody that asked a question about lending services or opportunities overseas versus do they have to get the lending from here? Let's talk about mortgages and lending a little bit. So what can you tell me about that for a foreign buyer?
You're asking me, Max?
Yes, either one of you or Bruno. And if Sarah can answer this question, I don't know.
I can tell you from Marbella and Bruno from Madrid. I think it's slightly different. I'll let Bruno.
Let me start. Let me start. Yes, foreigners can apply for a mortgage. By the way, the main banks in Spain, they have specialist departments to read and to get all the information they will need from the individual in different languages. So, and they are used to the documents they may require for those foreigners, depending on their nationality. So in case of the US, they will ask for the IRS and other nationalities for other documents, depending on their country. And yes, they can apply for that. The only restriction will be the percentage of the loan to value that they can get from the bank. Nationals may get up to 80% and maybe foreigners up to 65% maximum, which is not bad at all.
Right. So Hugo, you said it's different. Marbella market is different from the Madrid and Barcelona market.
Different, Max, based on the fact that this is a touristic destination. Therefore, the financial institutions are way more lenient here than in big cities, obviously for obvious reasons. Therefore, they have to be more lenient in order to attract foreign capital to be injected into the local real estate market. Therefore, where as opposed to Madrid and Barcelona, you're seeing a smaller loan to value, lower loan to value. Sorry, here you can actually get an 80% finance as a foreigner. As Bruno correctly mentioned, there are certain nationalities that have easier access to financing. United States, Canada, European countries, they're in a good position and they have a good opportunity when it comes to accessing the easy finance the Spanish institutions are currently granting, as opposed to countries such as Monaco, Gibraltar, Malta, which are tax havens. Therefore, they're having a tougher time to access finance. But all in all, here in Marbella, we're seeing a very generous lending from the banks.
Good. Sarah, quick question on that. Because if there are mortgages that are available, if someone buys something, let's say that's 500,000 euros, and they want to apply for the golden visa, but they want to mortgage the purchase, do they still qualify for the golden visa?
Yes, thank you, Mas. That was what I was about to say. The investment on real estate should be made net of any charges on encumbrances. So they could ask for a mortgage, but the €500,000 that should be invested in real estate should be free of any charges.
So I'm not, I guess I'm still not sure I understand. If free of all the charges and fees and everything, they buy a property that's 500, 600,000 euros, but they mortgage 60% of that. Do they still qualify?
No,
they do not.
They should be made.
So what they actually pay
of €500,000. Yes.
So what is actually paid down against the mortgage? So if they bought a $1 million property, and they only want to mortgage 400,000, then they could apply for the golden visa.
That would be okay. Yes.
Okay, got it. All right, so let's talk then a little bit about preparation beforehand. Before I get to a couple of those relocation questions, Melinda, tell me a little bit about your Certified International Property Specialist designation and how that helps somebody who is wanting to move from here to there and buy some property.
Yes, thank you, Max. And I think as people know and realize, moving internationally can be a huge and daunting task. As a certified international property specialist, I have gotten a designation with very in-depth, intensive training. And what we focus on are the critical aspects of transnational transactions, including currency, exchange rate, build and understand cross-cultural relationships. We do regional market conditions, talk about investment, tax issues, and legal issues with international moves. We do relocation, and together with this team here, and UnniCo, we and other affiliates that we have, for example, we have an affiliate that does international moving, and we understand the international movers have to be certified. So we get that in-depth training so we can help with those moves, and with talking and working with international clients, different cultures. For those people of a different culture, knowing that person's culture is an honor.
Okay, thank you. Alex and Danila, quick question here about somebody who is actually wanting to invest in a company or expand their business, whether they're here or somewhere else in the world, into, let's just say from the United States into Spain and into one of those markets. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things that need to be considered about wanting to expand your business operations into those markets.
Yes. So in situations like that, there are a lot of regulations in Spain that are royal decrees that are in place that regulate how much investment you can have, what kind of industries are regulated, and also the need to have pre-approval to do investments in Spain. With that said, Spain is a country that financially is pretty much becoming more and more important. I think the growth year over year in Spain as a country is one of the top 3 in Europe or the European Union right now, and is welcoming investments from other countries, including US. So I would say, Max, that is pretty much the need to understand how the rules, regulations, and royal decrees work, understand what kind of benefits you can have and what kind of infrastructure you want to use, like free trade zones and some other funding benefits that Spain has, and make sure that you have your homework done before executing. Just to don't be surprised and don't end up in a situation where you have to undo something just because the rules that we play mostly here in US and some other countries are different in Spain as different in any other country in the world.
And to prepare for that, the best thing to do is to reach out to a professional such as yourself, or are there other individuals that you think are going to be important that somebody needs to consult in addition to you?
Yes, I would say that definitely legal support. Like this is why we work so close with John. The understanding of tax implications, like Sarah was mentioning, and also the visa requirements as well. Have the connections in place, Max, with organizations like the World Trade Center and all the connections you have. What Melinda mentioned about understanding how the relocation works, how cumbersome can be if you don't play or you don't pay attention to that. And also with Bruno and Hugo and his organization, in the sense of, okay, so now I'm moving where I'm going to live. And so I'm having having this group working together, you can have a much better start than trying to do by yourself and learning as you go, because that can be very costly.
You can make a lot of mistakes, right?
Yeah.
John, talk to us about some of the legal mistakes.
Well, I think that Alex summed up the whole process very well. Legal's part of the team, but we're going to be focused on the legal questions. So if I were brought into the conversation of a company or an individual that was relocating, when I talk about a company, I'm thinking of expanding into another country. I'm going to help them identify the legal issues, and maybe I can help them work through those issues, whatever they may be, whether it's what type of entity do I want to form, or other questions. But really, as a US lawyer, I have to confess, I have a generalized knowledge of different legal systems around the world. And I recognize that there's only so far I can go in giving legal advice without having local expertise, local input. And that's where, our network of attorneys around the world come in handy, because I can work with them once I know kind of what the business objectives are. I would call Sarah. You know, my contact at Larvia Menendez, I've known that firm for over 20 years and have worked with them on and off. So it just depends on the country. We have maintaining that broad network and seeing yourself as only the legal participant of a much larger team of experts. And by experts, I mean everybody who's representing the kinds of interests on this panel today.
Right.
Right. Let me just interject to say we are a one-stop shop. We have the people that are there and in place that we can get you moved from the US to a Spain, and we can do that.
All right. So, whether we're moving because of a job, a business expansion, or we're moving because of the beautiful weather, whatever, we can get you there through all the logistics and everything. But once someone gets there, let's say they are working, they're there as a result of a business relocation. What kind of services do you provide? Can Ugo, Bruno, Sarah, do you guys help out people once they are there with either getting school enrollments, driver's license, residence? Well, we kind of talked about the resident permits, but let's the school enrollments, driver's license, bank accounts, all those kind of things. Do you guys help people with those kinds of soft needs?
We do connect them with the specialists to help them. Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices Larvia is a brokerage company on real estate, and we are not a specialist on relocation. We are not certified as Melinda is, and but there are a lot of very good and trustable companies that they're very used to help people coming in Spain on relocation services.
Good. Do you guys get those kind of requests very often?
Yes, in some cases, yes.
And also, Max, just to interject, to Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices, we have many affiliates. We work with currencies. We have a moving company. And there's a lot of work that we do with insurance that we have affiliates for.
Okay, so, and I understand, Melinda, that's from getting people from here to there, but I was talking about once they are there, we want to make sure that people get set up. It's people individuals who relocate as a result of executives who relocate as a result of a job relo. Are spouses allowed to work and find something locally? Sarah, can you answer that question?
Yes, it depends on the kind of visa that they ask for. For example, if they ask for a golden visa, their spouse would be also allowed to work in Spain. But if the permit is the one intended for professionals coming to Spain for working reasons, this permit it could also be extended to the spouse, but just to live and not for work. So that's one of the reasons why at the beginning of my presentation I said that this should be made on a case-by-case analysis, but it would depend on the condition of each person and the needs of each individual coming to Spain. And it should be analyzed like on a tailor-made analysis for them. And in connection with the previous question, in our experience, there are a lot of people who are coming to Spain to live, and they come here and just get in love with the country and stay here. So we help them with all the legal matters, for sure, with all the taxation system, which is different from another country, and adjustments have to be made to work also from a Spanish perspective. But in terms of relocation, is the same as Bruno mentioned. We just refer to professionals that are used to making this kind of services.
Excellent. Ugo and Bruno, tell me, how do you guys get your business? Do you rely on walk-ins, referrals? Do you have do you work with any corporate accounts, or do you work through intermediaries? How do you guys get your business for the most part?
Hugo, contest.
Sure.
Up to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Bruno. Max, in this market in which we operate, just to give you a very good example, our office, our headquarters is by appointment only. Therefore, walk-ins it's not a business practice that we are familiar with here in Marbella. Other agencies do have walk-ins, but it's not an important source of potential buyers of leads. In our case, as we are a boutique agency and we specialize on the high-end segment, most of our leads come from word of mouth. We have been operating for the past 12 years. We were born and raised in this town. We know most of the collaborators. We are all good friends. It's a small community. Therefore, word of mouth is of the utmost importance, and needless to say, the reputation of the stakeholders involved in the business. We also do get many referrals from previous buyers. So, you know, it's a domino effect. Once you have a good, happy client, they will.
So it's relationship building.
It's relationship building, yes. Long-lasting relationships, building trust. We don't cold call. We don't have a call center. It's such a different way of doing business as opposed to the United States, for example. So, you know, it's a very unique way of doing business here.
All right.
Max, I know that we've got just a minute or two left. Can we take some questions from the audience?
So I've been, Melinda, I've been watching the questions here. I've only had one question from the audience, and it was about the lending restriction.
Okay, great.
All right. So I want to thank everybody today for attending. I want to thank Bruno, Hugo.
My pleasure.
Sara, thank you very much, the three of you. It's Hugo Bacaracion.
Correct.
Yes, there you go.
Very well, thank you.
Don't want to mistake that. And Bruno Rabasa, right?
Well done.
Thank you very much. And we want to thank everybody for attending our webinar series. Thank you to Alex and Danila. Thank you to John Parkerson. Thank you, Melinda. On behalf of the World Trade Center, UnniCo, and Berkshire Hathaway Homeservices, we wish everyone a great day. But please stop by our website, WTCatlanta.com, and you can check out our events. We have our annual meeting this evening, starting at 5:30 to 7. We have a lot of announcements that we will be making, as well as keep an eye out on our website, because we offer a lot of incentives and discounts when registering through our website as well. So check us out. We have our World Trade Day coming up on Tuesday, May 4th, with speakers from around the world, as well as we already have, believe it or not, this is very early in the process, and we're already well over 100 registrants from throughout Africa, Europe, Eastern Europe, and throughout the Americas. So we're already off to a good start. That's Tuesday, May the 4th, and there is still an early bird pricing of $49 for that. All right, thank you, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Great job.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.